Hi, welcome to 3DPI TV's weekly 3D printing roundup. That's Tony.
That's Scott, and these are your headlines.
Dassault Systems has released an overview of several new features for this year's SOLIDWORKS release. The big news is that SOLIDWORKS 2015 will include native 3D printing support for Windows 8.1, which leverages the operating system's default drivers for an optimized 3D printing experience. The user interface is designed to be as simple as possible. You simply select your 3D printer from a drop-down menu, specify the quality of your print job, and you are given options to add infill and RAF support. However, there is no word if the new SOLIDWORKS will actually make Windows 8 usable. Materialize made big news in the medical field with new technology capable of converting 2D X-ray images into 3D data. In the past, CT or MRI scans could then be used to 3D print patient-specific surgical guides for knee surgeries, but due to the time and cost of those types of scans, such 3D printed guides were only used in a fraction of the total knee replacement surgeries performed. Now it's possible for them to 3D print patient-specific surgical guides with only 2D X-ray images. In fact, a Belgian doctor has just performed the world's first complete knee replacement surgery using this process. This could be instrumental in bringing 3D printing into the medical industry at an accelerated pace, as it reduces the need for costly CT and MRI scans.
4, 3, 2, 1, engine ignited.
Last week, the Made in Space Zero-G printer hitched a ride on a rocket ship and was handed off to the International Space Station. CEO of Made in Space, Aaron Kremer, reflected on the uses of space 3D printing, saying that it will fundamentally change how the supplying and developing of space missions is done, because rapid construction of important materials is critical if humans are going to establish a greater footprint in our universe. He continued, saying that this is more than a 3D printer, it's more than a machine shop in space, that it is, in fact, a landmark for humanity. He further remarked that the Zero-G printer was the awesomest and that all other inventions are jerks. I may have made that last one up.
RepRap Pro has just made their new RepRap 3D printer kit, the Omarod 2, available for purchase. You can get the new, easier-to-assemble kit for only $735, or just the hardware for $622. It includes new higher quality components, an easier to access and clean drive stack extruder, and the Y motor was turned around to align with the other axes to enable easier zeroing. It also includes an easier to use web interface that is backwards compatible with the Omarod 1. Luminar Products have taken their TriBot machine to Kickstarter. They say that it is the first machine to print, mill, and mold, offering 3D printing, CNC milling, and auto-injection molding capabilities. The machine is capable of 3D printing detailed prototypes in an unusually broad range of materials, including PVC, polypropylene, polyethylene, or polycarbonate, while maintaining the strength and rigidity required for CNC or manual milling. At just under $5,000, the machine is aimed directly at the prosumer market. Northeastern University recently unveiled a new nanoparticle 3D printer. According to the Boston Globe, the university's patented nanoscale offset printing system called NanoOps is capable of 3D printing layers as thin as 20 nanometers. That is 4,000 times thinner than a human hair. Unlike traditional 3D printers, it doesn't extrude a material or use UV light to harden resin. Rather, it uses a technique called direct assembly, in which a tiny mold is created, coated with a thin layer of nanowires, and then introduced to electricity, which then attracts a layer of nanoparticles. The process can be theoretically used to construct smaller and more powerful microchips that cost even less to produce.
In this project, we're building an ultrasonic ruler. A stylized enclosure makes this distance sensor into a handheld sonar measuring tape. The design features...
Tech company Adafruit Industries recently had another great 3D Thursday project for an ultrasonic ruler and distance sensor in a 3D printed enclosure stylized to look like Beast Robin's Harkonnen Lost Pistol from the classic Dune film. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, you're not alone. It's actually a weapon replica made for David Lynch's insane 1984 film Dune, which is not an especially good movie, but still kind of awesome at the same time. I mean, Sting wears a hilarious metal thong at one point, Kyle MacLachlan legitimately looks like a Jonas brother, and Captain Picard looks exactly the same as he does now. Like, exactly the same.
Make it so.
The design is in 8 parts and is completely open source and available on Thingiverse. Adafruit's Noah Ruiz says that it should take about 6 hours to print on a typical 3D printer using PLA. The parts have all been optimized to 3D print with no support material, so there should be minimal cleaning required. Once you've printed your parts and assembled them, you can pretty much do whatever you want to customize and finish the gun. Ruiz did some light sanding to smooth out the striation and give it a worn, well-used look, and he added a coat of silver paint to finish the whole thing off. You can find the complete ultrasonic ruler project on Adafruit's website, and you can download the model for the enclosure on Thingiverse. And you can see Captain Picard's portrait up in his attic.
Thanks for watching. As always, you can find links to all of the stories that we talked about today in the video description.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, plus us on Google+, and if you can find some time, whisper some sweet nothings in our ear. It makes us feel loved. And we leave you today with a clip from Avi Reichenthal's excellent TED Talk, which you can also find a link to below. See ya.
Printing. With 3D printing, complexity is free. The printer doesn't care if it makes the most rudimentary shape or the most complex shape. And that is completely turning design and manufacturing on its head as we know it. Many people think that 3D printing will be the end of manufacturing as we know it. I think that it's the opportunity to put tomorrow's technology in the hands of youngsters that will create endless abundance of job opportunities.